Thank you guys for attending so much. I appreciate your spending your lunchtime with us. I believe we're going to be talking about a few things here today that are going to be interesting for a lot of us who deal with business and marketing, online marketing. We still have a couple of people that are signing in. I can see that our attendance is growing almost a person every minute. So what I'd like to do is kind of give a minute to talk about a little bit about Sit and Learn, what we're going to be doing um, from from this inaugural moment of our Sit and Learn webinar series. We're going to be taking some time aside to just educate some of our listeners and some of our advocates on some of the things that they can be doing to increase their online awareness. And today's subject is something that I'm very passionate about. Email marketing is very close to online marketing as a general conversion rate, convincing rate, building a culture around your brand. So today we're going to be looking at how to start the early stages of email marketing. We're going to take a look at MailChimp.com, move through some of the proven strategies from Bronto. We ourselves use Bronto in some capacity, so we're very used to the structure of that. And then we're going to talk about some overall strategies for the holidays. This is a little bit more exciting than general email marketing. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk and walk through some of these pieces. So just take a moment to get used to the environment. Some of us here are probably new to a webinar, so you'll notice that your control panel gives you the ability to do several different things. I see some of you have already taken it to a step of asking some questions. Hello, Kim. How are you doing? Dan, thanks for showing up. I appreciate you being on the call. I'm glad we got it figured out. The idea here is we're going to be talking about email marketing and how we can wrap it around the holidays to make it successful. So at this point, I'm going to introduce a poll and try to see if we can't get some interaction here. So I'm going to put a poll out there and see how this goes. So you got a moment. Take a look and see. Your poll should have just opened. Very simple. Anybody out there using an email provider currently? Yes, no, not sure. So looks like we have some people interacting, which is wonderful news. So the cool part that I like to talk about is getting directly into the webinar. So follow along with me. As soon as you get done taking the poll, please let me know. It should close. So I'm going to close the poll now. So we had a good showing. It looks like 75% of you guys have used an email provider in the future. So today our webinar leaders are going to be Lucas Schaefer, and that is myself. You'll see my picture there on the screen, and also Jamie McConnell, who's helping organize everything. So if you have any questions, we can help facilitate that by making them general, so we can have a point in between slides to take on those questions. So thank you, Jamie, for being a part of this. And I think she has the ability to talk too, so we'll probably have some conversation as we move forward. We still have a few people showing up, so the next slide here, we're going to be talking about our sponsors, Stand and Stretch. That's the company that I own. We have a great ability to do interactive marketing, so we work with mobile, web, social. We do advertising and print and wrap that into one big online marketing campaign. So email is a wonderful part of our web model, so we will be driving information. So again, thanks everybody for showing up. Looks like we have a strong 21 people in the webinar, so that's good. Thanks to everyone who attended. Jumping right into our intro. So the idea is we're going to be looking at our outline. So we talked about a few things here. This is kind of our intro state. I want to look at some statistics. Everybody loves to hear about what email's doing, how they're being performed inside of holiday times, how they're in general and national averages, 60% of that, 100% of this. We're going to talk about some email marketing 101. It's going to include terminology. It's going to be a large part some definitions that are going to help us understand what some of these holiday strategies are going to be all about. And then, of course, all the way through the 12 o'clock hour from 12 to 1 p.m., if you have any questions, please ask, and we'll try to get to them at the end, or if they're immediately necessary, we'll talk about them as they pop up. So please use your interface, and I appreciate your time today. I did get some previous questions from a few of our attendees, so I will be bringing those up. I actually inlaid them in the presentation, so I think that was a great opportunity for our attendees. So the cool part are statistics. I really dig numbers. So when people are talking things to me, if you say something like 88% of business to consumer firms currently use email marketing and another 10% plan on using it by the end of the year, I get excited, especially when it comes from a company like Forrester. Forrester is one of the most renowned statistician companies, the consultancy firms that they do nothing but get paid to collect data and report it. So here's a couple of more stats. Only 1% of 500 surveyed retailers are sending a welcome series to engage new email subscribers. So that's from ListTrack. So that's a very interesting number there. Down at the bottom, 56% of smartphone users say that email marketing has become more relevant in the last 12 months compared to only 29% of the feature phone users citing increased relevance. So what that's saying is that it's every year we're seeing almost a doubling factor. We'll talk a little bit more about the usage of email. 43% of mobile email users check email 4 or more times per day. Now that's compared to 29% of those who do not use mobile email. So one of the things we're going to discuss today, of course, is, are you optimizing your email marketing strategy for mobile? And there's a couple of cool tricks I want to show you today. Very cool stuff. Nearly half will buy online, up to 43% last year. Additionally, the average holiday shopper plans to do 36% of their shopping online, whether they're comparing prices, researching products, and actually making a purchase. One of the greatest things about this is if you are putting email into people's desktop email or mobile phones, smartphones, you're engaging them to go ahead and have that product research at hand when they need it. So there's a couple of quotes at the end that is going to make so much sense to everybody. So 78% of mobile email users are regular users of social networking sites. And I love this, because Facebook mobile has now beat out Facebook desktop. Twitter's primarily used for mobile apps now. So everything's sort of centering around how we can get interaction from the mobile perspective. So I have one more poll that I would like to share, and let's see what we can do here. This is a great poll. It's very simple. How many attendees use direct mail or traditional efforts during the holidays? So very simple yes or no question here. I think the greatest part about this question actually tells me how much relevance there is when we are doing traditional and online or new media marketing efforts. Holidays represent a big time for most everybody. Here at Stand and Stretch, we have the ability to, see our timeline being here for 2 years. Our holiday season is also our very good time for us. So we enjoy that. So thank you for filling out the poll. I'm going to close it now. It looks like out of a majority of you guys, 69% have, yes, I use other methods of marketing instead of email. So that's good to know. So 31% of you know I've used email marketing before. So that's a good one. So moving on to the slides, a rundown sort of statistics. Marketingprofessors.com, marketingprofs.com, and a company called eDialogue have really cut some ground when it comes to looking into the future and estimating some of the things. So one of the numbers we're going to look at here are just this drill down, what I'm calling the statistics rundown. I'm going to go through this quite quickly. 34% increase in email marketing from 2010-2011. That's cool. The immediate welcome messages return 4 times more revenue. And what does that mean? So if you have a service and somebody gets an email from you and it's just a welcome, a general email, hey, thanks for doing business with us. This is so cool. The idea is you're going to be generating more of a customer relationship, bringing the social aspect into an email marketing campaign. So even if you don't have an overall campaign, just sending an email saying thank you, that could be a part of that immediate welcome message. It does help that if we use this as an overall, depending on how many customers you're bringing in at one time, if you're an online retailer, this might be an email of 2,000 people because you made 2,000 sales today. But even in a general purpose small business atmosphere, emailing someone and allowing them to know that you're thinking about them and you have a procedure set up that allows for welcome messages, you can overall increase the revenue. So one of the things I'd like to say is that 32% of online shoppers purchased something they saw on Pinterest. Now, everybody knows what Pinterest is. I believe that we have a good group of females in our midst today, so I really enjoy talking about Pinterest overall as a new social medium to get people interested in sharing information. So you can see online shopping is already being affected by that powerful network. 33% of holiday opens were on a mobile device. Again, with the mobile, I know this is important, so I'll keep harping on that. The best part is the next one. 51% of emails were opened on Christmas. Now, this is an actual stat, so you can imagine this. So you're sending emails out on Christmas Day, not even thinking that somebody might pick up their phone and respond. So you have the idea that over half the emails that you might send in your campaign are going to be viewed during Christmas. So the expectations from eDialogue are that 2012, the numbers are expected to double. I agree. I can see this being a very important role in online marketing from the past 2 or 3 years all the way to now. So next step we're going to be looking at here is our charts. Now this is something that's pretty amazing stuff. I want to just kind of highlight a few things here. Now this is the open rate as in respect to time. So one of the things you should see here is that you're getting your maximum amount of what I would say your peak open rate within the first hour of delivery. So what does that mean? Usually it correlates to an idea where you'll be sending these emails at certain times of the day, let's say at the morning, and you might send it at 7:30. That means by 8:30 in the morning, nobody's going to be looking at your email. That's a very powerful statement. So we have the opportunity to try to catch people in what I would call an email time strategy, something that would be placing people around their email device, around their mobile phone in these high times of the day, say during their lunch hour, because they'll check a mobile email while they're at lunch. They won't necessarily pick up their phone or check their personal email while they're during the work hour. So if you're dealing with a market, let's say Columbus, Georgia, where traditional timing goes like this, it's 8 to 12, 1 to 5. You really don't have the opportunity to interact with them while they're on those 4 hours in the morning and 4 hours in the afternoon, the traditional work schedule. So what we would say was we'll send one right before work because you have an hour span to catch them during that time, an hour during lunch, or right after 5 o'clock. Something that gets them where they're checking their social sites, they're looking at Facebook, and then you hit them with an email that says, hey, we have a free webinar, come check out and listen to us. So that's a really interesting stuff. I love this. I love this stat because it just tells me that I need to be focusing more on campaign and not just single emails. So here's another stat, and while we try to say that we would like to see all 100% of our emails seen, it's rare. It's very rare, actually. I don't think I've seen too many, but it's not impossible. There are a finite number of emails that can be opened and seen. So an email marketer can expect about 50% of their opens to recur within the first 6 hours. So just a moment ago, I showed you that we were seeing most of our traffic within the first hour. Now we're looking at an expectation of email opens. If they were to continue to open at a diminished rate, you would see that over 300 hours. So you can see that the life cycle of an email is probably 300 hours. So, that question that you always get asked, did you get my email? That's a tough one here because, it's this stats telling us that the life cycle of an email is not going past 300 hours. The relevancy is falling off. So moving on. Now I want to talk a little bit about some of these terms that I brought up. We talked about conversion rates, open rates, click-throughs. A lot of that kind of needs to be pieced together through sort of an email marketing 101. To kind of kick this off, I'd like to see if we have people out there to take one more poll for everybody. This is just real quick, and then we're going to kick into some high gear. And this is sort of a poll to kind of see how much email everybody's sending. So it's very quickly, you can see that we have, at Stand and Stretch, we have a list of approximately about 250 people. So we're sending enough emails these days to get us into the 500, 2,000 category. But if you're not sure, that's okay. If you're not sending any monthly and you're sending one every 2 months to sort of keep a relevant campaign going, you'll see that there's some good opportunity there. So it looks like we have a good percentage that have voted. So I'm going to close the poll, and I notice that there's a share button here, so I can actually have you guys look at it and share the results. So you can see here a good poll that everybody's sort of in a early stage list building, and that's good because I think I can share some email marketing tips, some 101 ideas that are going to get you thinking about all the pieces that help you build the list. So just starting with some of the most important parts of email marketing is the Can-Spam Act. Now I wish I could ask for people to raise their hand, because you definitely can raise your hand, but if you see the raise hand button, anybody heard of the Can-Spam Act of 2003? Now this is a really cool thing, because it basically says that, and I see some hands going up, that's awesome, guys, I appreciate that. It's basically, for those that haven't heard of it, it's a law that outlines rules for commercial email. And it's not just the spam stuff that you might think. This is some actual legit email standards that people have to use. You see it relevant in banks with trying to complicate this is the sender from this person. If you read this email, it's outside of our policy. Please email and forward it to somebody who knows how to handle the next step of the situation. So basically, it also has consequences that violates a lot of, you could get a fine, and I'll talk about that in just a moment. But one of the biggest things about Can-Spam is it says that you have to have something in the footer of your email that allows someone to disconnect from your email marketing. So you can't just go and send tons and tons of stuff out there for people to just see and weed through, because that can be reported and their legal recourse can happen. So you can see that knowing and understanding the Can-Spam Act, and I'm going to spend just a moment on it, but we have a term here, clicks per open. This is a percentage measure of the number of clicks divided by the number of opens. So we're looking at sort of an open rate that's going to come up soon. So also the opt-in or subscribe. Some email providers like MailChimp and Constant Contact won't allow you to send emails to big groups of people unless you have either confirmed that they have opted in for your email service, or that you've sent an email to every single one of them and had them turn back around and offer you a opt-in subscribe button that basically says, yes, I will receive emails from you, and I want to receive emails from you in the future. So opt-in plays a large role in the Can-Spam Act. So this is very important to understand. One thing I'd also like to show you is a little bit more about the Can-Spam Act. It doesn't apply to bulk email, as I was trying to cover. There's no exception for business-to-business email. That means all emails. So you can see here that the subject to penalties is about $16,000, and that could be per email depending on the scenario. So there's a 6-page document below that I have here listed from the ftc.gov that basically draws the compliance guidelines for any business. So if you'd like that, we can follow up later and I can share that link with you. So it's great information. It's pretty cool stuff. So more 101 stuff, the CTR. Now, if you're online marketing, CTR is something you strive for. How do you call to action? How do you get that person to click the email? Where is the register button? Where is the buy now button? Click here to join. The click-through rate, there is tons and tons of data derived about how people are utilizing calls to action to drive click-through rates up. So if you get the click-through rates up, then you should be able to get the conversion rate up. So the next step, the percentage of recipients who respond to your call to action. So this is really cool, and I'll explain an example of this in just a moment. But okay, so now they clicked your register button. Are they actually registering? So that's the conversion rate. How many people are clicking CTR? How many people are clicking the email? And then how many people are converting into an actual lead, a sale, conversion rate? So it's very cool. So when we discuss email campaigns in general, sometimes some of us think, well, we might be talking about, well, I send out my monthly email. That's cool. But we also have the idea that we can think of email campaigns as a larger entity. It's something that is a series of emails. Maybe it's a beginning state, a middle state, and an end state email. And we're going to talk about some of those holiday strategies on how you create your holiday email campaign. I had someone ask me a question on Facebook, and please follow up at Stand and Stretch's Facebook page for more questions and things like that after the webinar. But Mr. Adams, and I see he's in the crowd today, thank you for joining us. I had a question and I wanted to answer it directly just for you. It is basically, how can we make sure the formatting of your email is visible on web, Outlook, and mobile all at the same time? Now this is a great question because one of our terms here is called the plain text email. Now, the best thing I can say about how to make sure your formatting for your email is on spot is everywhere you go, even in Constant Contact, even in Bronto, even in MailChimp, you're going to find a preview button. So the preview button will pop up and it will allow you to see the email as it would be seen in multiple types of inboxes. That includes Microsoft Outlook on the web, Gmail, some other typical email applications. Sometimes this feature is free, like maybe a preview of the email inside of a window of standards, a 600 width or a mobile standard of 250 wide. So you can see that there is the opportunity for you to take a peek at it before you do send it, so you can optimize it all at the same time. Now the plain text email was derived from creating a mobile or non-graphical display of your email. So it is the farthest extent that you can take your email backwards. So you have your very beautiful HTML wonderfully drawn out by a creative person, and they've done a good job with the call to action. That might not be seen by 100% of everyone, but you still have that 10% of people who can't see the graphics, who are on an old mobile phone that get their email, but they can't see graphic displays. So to keep your formatting all the way driven to the lowest common denominator, which is the plain text email, allows you to display and connect and create contextual calls to action. That's a very good question. Thank you, Ed. Now the open rate is something that we strive for. There are national averages, so you'll hear me say stuff during our back and forth on going through the strategy, how to increase your open rate, how to look at times of the day, and also what are some national averages. Like 20% is like a national average. You take all the industries that we've researched and look, 20% is a good open rate. So a sender score is something that you get involved with when you start working with a company like MailChimp or Constant Contact. Because they're in the industry, their mail servers will check for a sender score, deciding what to do with your emails. So if you have a very low or have been sending a lot of spam or have been marked as spam by 1,000 of people, then you might have a registered site domain that actually has a low sender score, which means all your emails are going into the spam filter, which I believe takes us to the next slide. So we had another question from Mr. Kemp. Thank you for participating. I see you're a part of our webinar today. So how do you prevent automated email from being considered by spam or considered spam by Google? This is cool. Google is one of the best places, Gmail specifically is one of the best places to monitor and moderate emails as far as spam. So I can click the report spam button. I can do that all day long. But there's a lot of other people who aren't doing it. So the idea of how do we prevent automated email from being considered spam is to create a sender policy framework. So you'll see the first thing here on the list, an SPF. This is a very important idea because anytime you set up a new domain and you're sending emails from this domain or this web server, you basically have the opportunity to send over a little piece of information in that email that helps the receiver of the email know whether or not it is quality, it has a high send score, or it has markings of a true email. So if the SPF or sender policy framework comes back with a negative number or a negative value, then Google will mark it and consider it spam because it's saying you don't have permission using this sender policy framework to send an email from this domain. So setting up those SPFs are a great way to use other email addresses and send from a central server that doesn't necessarily have any ideas on that specific domain. So it's a very cool thing. And while we're talking about that, whitelisting is a very good thing to do. If you're setting up your SPF, you can also go in there and whitelist domains that make it easy for you to send from these addresses. So this includes IP addresses, and they've been ultimately approved to deliver email to a recipient. So it's along the lines of these are some very important details that might cause your campaign to slow in the need. So list segmentation, we're going to talk about this as a strategy. List segmentation is basically saying I have a list of 2,000 people. There's 500 that are in Georgia, and there's 1,500 that are in Alabama. Well, my product is only sellable in Georgia, so why would I send to the entire 2,000? I'll take the time to segment and figure out what the demographic information is on my list, and then I'll send to that individual all my Georgia recipients. I can be more efficient, I'll get higher open rates, I'll get more response than if I send the same deal to the people that are in Alabama. So it's a very simple example. And then a privacy policy. This is also part of the CAN-SPAM Act. They want to know what you're doing. They want you to know that privacy policies are protecting them, not you. What are you doing with their email address? They want to know. They want to know what you're doing with my state. Why do you need to know what state I'm in? Why do you need to know I have 3 kids? Why do you need to know all this information? And while that helps you market to them, it also allows for you to tell them that it's okay because you're going to be using this data anonymously to help market and make their experience with your business better. Google does that. Facebook does it. All the big giants do it, and they do it so well. That's why we have advertising targeting. We have the ability to know who you are when you're on our websites. You've given permission in these other directions, so now we're seeing that kind of come back, and now you're responsible for all the data you're collecting. And in some cases, the Better Business Bureau requires you to have a privacy policy if you're dealing with online things. So there's great ways to stay online and safe. This also, makes them feel comfortable about giving you more information so that you can help segment your list. So that's very cool stuff. So it works like this. This is so cool. The reason why I love email marketing so much is because I often said that if you give me 250,000 people in your email list and it's connected to an e-commerce store, I can draw a line and make money off of it. Now, that I worked with a company prior to Stand and Stretch. It was sort of from my last job into Stand and Stretch, sort of an employment agreement. And what I did with that company was help rewrite some of their online marketing strategies. The first thing we did was go after email. So this is kind of a walkthrough on how we produced cash, used it to tweak and create more money. So a client has 250, and this is honestly, this is for all the math people. How many math people do we have out there by a show of hands? Maybe you guys can do this stuff in your head while we're walking through it. And I see a few people. Thank you. So this is cool. A client has 250,000 people in their list, and they sell online products in an e-commerce solution. And this is kind of feeling like grade school a little bit, right? Each day the client sends each person an email. So that's an email a day, 250,000 emails a day, and has a standard open rate of about 20%, a click-through rate, a CTR of 6%, and then a conversion rate of 3%. Now, everybody, you got to know that these I'm taking this from a real life anonymous example. This is exactly how e-commerce works with email marketing. Each conversion is an average of $78 a sale. And I see one of my buddies on, and I was trying to, where'd you go, Chris? Okay, I see you, Chris. There you are. The idea, Chris and I used to work in an environment that was similar to this, and that's a very good shopping cart checkout number. So do the math. So this is based on a client who was very mature business, which I helped optimize. So we're getting close, and I think Kat's doing some math. Maybe my math's off a little bit here. So 250,000 times 20% is 50,000 openings. So let's talk about that. So 50,000 people are opening my messaging, my branding, and learning about my commerce a day. So this can go into banner advertising mentality. Yeah, thanks, Kat. I see that. Awesome. Thanks for the feedback. So you can see here 6% of those 50,000s are now being clicked. So we got open rates, we got click rates, and then we have our conversion rates of 3%. So 3% of the 3,000 people who clicked equal 90 sales. So imagine if you're doing 90 sales a day through commerce at an average of $78. So you'll see here each email they send on a daily basis brings in $7,000, $7,020 a day. That was an actual stat. It has grown. It has done multiple things. So the idea, just like in banking principles, just like in investing principles, how can I increase? I can't really, how can I increase any one of these numbers to make the end numbers better? So you can see if I increase my list of 250,000 people to 500,000 people, then I start the list here with 100,000 opens. Now, the real idea is how do we create a strategy that increases the CTR, the amount of emails that are clicked, and then how do we increase the most important of all, the 3%. And you'll be surprised how that 3% relates more to your website than it does the email marketing campaign. If you're running numbers like this, I would say that you're doing a national average. Anything above it would be highly successful, and I think that you're doing a great job. So there we've set some benchmarks. Now I will say that the client pays an annual amount of $66,000. That's a lot of money for us out there. I know it is. I know it's a ton of money. They send 90 million emails a month. So that's 250,000 a day for 365 days a year. At $7,020, they make 2.56 million in sales from email marketing. So you can see that the money is obviously drawing a very good line there. So to give you this kind of perspective, it kind of allows us to draw back and say, okay, well, I need to figure out what my numbers are. So that's kind of the end state of our email marketing 101. In email, it is finally about the numbers. So you'll see my first line. Build your list all the time. Get your list from your customer database, from QuickBooks. Go to your social media sites and say, hey, join our list. We're going to have promotions. We're going to have deals. We're going to have, you're going to love the way we treat you in our email VIP lounge, all kinds of cool ideas. Inbound links, so you can create links to get people to your email list. QR codes scanned by mobile phones, taking people to an opt-in email provider where it takes first name, last name, email address. Boom. They are now a part of your online marketing cycle that includes email marketing. So manually sign them up. This is a very popular thing. When we were doing Social Media Club, we had, as technologically savvy as we had the list sitting out. People would walk up and sign it. So we would get them to opt in. They sign that list. It is an agreement that they're okay with us sending them information. But remember, all emails must be opt-in. So sticking to the Can Spam Act, you can see that we're following closely to that here. So you're a small business, and a show of hands, how many of you guys out there are starting their list or have less than 2,000 people in your email list? Can I see a show of hands? So very 2,000 is sort of a really good place to be, and I'll tell you why. If you're in MailChimp right now, and I'm going to recommend that people start with MailChimp, it is an awesome and great place to start. And I wrote that, when I wrote it, I said, I love MailChimp, and I talk about it all the time. It's fun. I'm actually going to pull it up here in a minute. We're going to take a look at it. Build your list to 2,000 emails. It's free, up to 2,000. It's fun. It's not boring. MailChimp's all about loud colors, all about beautiful reports. They worked with the guy that Facebook hired, and I forget, somebody might want to help me. His name is Newton, or well, let's just skip that. He is known for doing great infographics, and Facebook purchased him and bought him, and now he's doing graphic work for stats for Facebook. So you have the ability to create custom forms. Some of you might have seen this trying to come into our email today. It has thousands of templates. So not everybody here today has the ability to put effort into creating graphics for an email marketing campaign, and would look to hire, someone like our sponsor, Standard Stretch, to do some creative work. So, and the best part is you can send 12,000 emails a month to those 2,000 users. So that is 6 rounds a month of 6 campaigns, 6 emails to your list of 2,000 or below, up to 12,000 emails, and you can do all that for free. Now, one of the things I will say is that MailChimp is a little bit more expensive than Constant Contact. So once you go above 2,000 emails, you're going to want to look at Constant Contact, because their features are a little bit more mature. They have a ton of other devices, but the same idea. MailChimp, you might grow to love it and you'll stick with it because it is an awesome software. And all you need is an email account to sign up. So let me see if I can take one moment and just pull up MailChimp and show you guys. Hopefully this works. And you guys should be able to see this now, that it is very cool looking. I love MailChimp because of the colors. It's kind of pulled together quite well. I'm just kind of scanning through, the good companies, they use them. So don't want to spend too much time on it, but they do have some really great features when it comes to building your list, getting a template out there that's custom fit for you. Everybody should go sign up for MailChimp today if they get the opportunity, and you're not already in sort of a contract with somebody else. So you can see here, this is a customizable dashboard. You actually notice the Standard Stretch logo above the dashboard, so you can get this kind of primed to make it feel like home. Creating a template is very simple. So you'll see here that I sent an email out to our 155 people who have opted into our list. And you can see here that this is really cool, because if you take note, you'll note that I'm around a 20% open rate. So everybody see that? So we have the 20% open rate down here. And then it tells me who's how many percentage is unopened. And then I got my 3 clicks. Now, if anybody's doing the percentages on me, that's a low. I get it. It's not 3%. Thank you for pointing it out. One of the things we'll do is take an opportunity to take some questions after this, and I see we've got a couple of questions popping up. But the idea here is we have email marketing for the holidays. My post, 32 opens, which is on an average of 20%, which is good, and then the click rate of 2%. So that's very cool. So one of our attendees has asked a question. So if we're using a Constant Contact now, because there are about 4,500 emails, would they recommend to stick with it? And I think to answer your question, I think 4,500 is a great place. I know that in Constant Contact there is a plan that you can pay anywhere from $50 to, you actually pay for the size of your list. So it goes sort of like this. I think the $45, 4,500 people in your list puts you right about $80 to maybe $120, maybe. But you can send the unlimited emails, and see that's where Constant Contact gets a really good feel for it, because if you pay for your amount of list, and you can send unlimited emails. MailChimp actually works the opposite way. They will actually pull you back and say, you're sending 30,000 emails a month, we're going to charge you less than a penny per email. And then you can see how that kind of gets into the money quickly, especially if you're sending a lot of emails. Yeah. So thank you, Ashley. I appreciate that. Paying about $55 a month for, unlimited emails is an opportunity that MailChimp will not afford. Once you break into that and you put 4,500 people on a MailChimp, you're going to see that the costs are going to be more. So thank you for your interaction. I appreciate that. So the holiday strategy. So this is what everybody's here for. Looks like we have about probably about 15 minutes left, and I think I can finish this up, because this is I'm going to drill into this really quickly and talk about these pieces. But now that you guys have seen some stats, you guys know this is relevant. And now that you've done your 101 and you've seen some numbers, now we're going to be talking very openly about some strategies and how they might increase all of these important numbers. So tips to do it right this year. That's kind of where I started. We're getting into the holiday season, so there's some things you need to put down on paper today. And definitely, starting with number one, you see create a plan. I love getting an email that looks different than all the emails I've gotten all year. So creating a new email template, remailing, a countdown promotions, a flash sale. Now this is cool because it's exactly like what you think it is when you think about a flash mob, flash dance, with the idea of, oh, we just had a sale unplanned, but the only way you can get to it was to be on our email list. You can imagine how that would entice someone to participate on your email marketing. So streamlining social, it's really cool, simple steps. Segmentation strategy, sending a holiday ecard, so simple. Shipping focused strategy, free shipping today only, that type of stuff. Identifying mobile opportunities. I want to show you guys something I think you're going to take away. It's going to be really interesting. And then also build your post-holiday and New Year's plan. So we'll walk through each one of these. So the one thing, let me take a sip of my water. I apologize. The one thing that most everybody misses is the create a plan step. It's most important to do this, and what I thought I pulled out of this Bronto white paper, Bronto is also an email marketing software solution, and they advanced into online marketing. Great company. I love their branding. We have their blow up dinosaurs all over our office. If you haven't seen them, it's pretty cool. But the create a plan is really the extension of your online marketing inside of the email zone. So you've already got this online marketing strategy put in place. You're doing content for your website. You're disseminating that content out into your social spaces. Where are you getting into the email inboxes? So meet with your extended team, everybody, marketers, designers, your production staff, your content people, and discuss the entire process. How are we going to start today? Send out the holiday e-card. How are we going to do a follow-up remail? How are we going to segment our list and send multiple emails to different themed groups of people, and then do follow-up emails? So in 2011, 4% of brands sent an email apologizing for mistakes. So you're also going to need to have your damage control. What happens if you actually send the email and it says 50% off when you really meant to say 5% off? How are you going to adjust to those that 250,000 people who now want their 50% off, right? So there's a good unraveling of customer service headache, such as a typo can be a headache and not needed. So how are you going to adjust to those things? So creating the plan, it's a good place to start, and it's kind of general, not cool, but it needs to be done. Okay, so email templates are important. You've been using the same one all year. It's time to take some changes. In 2011, 16% of brands featured a fully themed holiday navigation, including I'm trying to think of something creative off the top of my head. I'm failing. It's more of like a snowflake call to action button. something that was themed around the holidays. So that was a big increase. There's reason to include some variation because your subscribers will see something new and their eyes will go immediately to it. There's a lot of behavioral mechanics into changing the design specifically to suit a need. 27% of brands consistently including shipping deadlines in their email footer. Don't disregard the footer. Most of those are basically miniature contractual statements. The sale is over in 3 days. Keeping the customer informed, urgency in purchasing. The footer is a great place to put those information and dates and sort of a precursor to damage control. So the email template needs to be looked at. You need to create something holiday specific, move with it. Very cool stuff. So I think one of the things that a lot of us get kind of remiss about is remailing, and this is a real term in email marketing. So what are we doing with remailing? So we send out our holiday e-card. We've now progressed and we're taking our time and say, okay, a remail is going to be when we send another email to the previous people. That's great, but we should also consider segmenting to the subscriber base. So if we have male and female, a separation, so we're segmenting an email that's going directly towards males and females. Now I know everybody in this webinar just said, what do you mean? I got to create themed emails for the individual people? Absolutely. Because the one thing we're trying to do is increase the conversion rate. You spend one more hour on creating a female and male individualized template, and you can increase your conversion rate by 2%. What does that mean to your bottom line? So one of the ideas is we don't want to send general information to people if we don't have to or waste that opportunity. So there's various levels of engagement to think about. How diverse is your list? Do you know if they live on this side of town, that side of town? Are they close to a store that they can walk into? Are they going to be doing their online shopping? What do you want them to know about your services? How do they want to find you online? So you can see that there's a large part of trying to understand how we're going to take opportunity and remail them things that can be scheduled into the future. So I'm talking in terms of, we got our new theme, we got our holiday e-card, it's gone out, everybody's aware, we're coming after them for the holidays. Next thing you know, we start scheduling emails to go out Black Friday, Christmas, 2 weeks before those moments about sales. We start putting together some more of these strategies. So I'm going to continue on. Remailing is so important that it actually is a part of the rest of this. So I wanted everybody to get their ideas from that. So countdown promotions. Man, these are so cool. Everybody's seen these things, and it's wonderful that people do them because I open them every day. This is where we're doing a remailing where it consists of 3 days left, 2 days left, 1 day's left, and I open it and I go, okay, I'm missing something. What am I missing here? So countdown promotions are great. In 2011, 17% of brands employed some form of daily promotion. We saw that with the rise and fall of Groupon. Well, not fall all the way. I won't say they fell. I'd say that they kind of just stopped moving forward as fast as they were going. The deal of the day became prolific in the idea of driving interaction through social media, through email marketing, through online tools. So even Anthropologie, which is a popular apparel line, the Countdown in Color campaign, which is something that they did here, you'll see this is very cool. This is actual themed templates, and you'll see at the bottom there's a red one that says 3 days left, and then there's the two days left, and then 1 day left. Very, very organic. I love it. I think this is what you should be considering when doing your email marketing, when you're doing countdown promotions. So it's very interesting how that could just draw you in, and all of a sudden I'm not being marketed to, I'm experiencing something that has to do with your business. You'll see Pottery Barn here doing it, very kind of sly. You'll see the 5 days left, 4 days left thing. It's a great little marker. This is in their top navigation, so the page containing all the shipping deadlines and details. You click on it and you learn more about that countdown promotion. Then of course the infamous flash sale. everybody's gotten that email right before they leave work, right? Oh goodness, 50% off Macy's today. I got to get there and get that thing because I only have 2 hours and I'm not going to. So you immediately go online and you make the purchase because they have given you criteria, what it is, when is it over, and how can I get it fast? And if I do it today, can I get a discount off of it? So you can see flash sales being a very important peak part of the season. Increasing the urgency and clearly communicating the expiration of the deal will drive subscribers. That's great. Subscribers to act quickly. So you can see 8% of the brands leveraged flash sales in less than 24 hours. So email goes out, you have 24 hours to act or you miss it. Another great way to get people to be on your list, because the only way they can find out about it is how to be a part of your email marketing, be a part of your list, to have opted into your list. So that's cool. Streamlining social. Every single one of us wants to put that big blue F in our emails, and basically it's just nothing but big blue F, right? The idea is we could take on some pieces of that, and a few key social strategies to focus on would be including the social channels, but with the bullet points I've listed, here's a path that you can use to sort of clear up the call to action. What are you doing with that F? I mean, should you use the F icon, the Facebook icon, or should it be share us, like us, share with your friends? Don't just have the icons. And the other part is you want to get the like too. We work with several different pieces that allow us to put, coupons that are behind what we call a like gate. So you have to like the page to get to the coupon. It encourages people to join your page and join your Facebook marketing. Encourage conversation. Now this is something bold that came. I'll say it came from Bronto. And encourage the conversation basically means have them participate on some type of social media, tweet this, email, follow up with our flash sale online, tell us how you enjoyed it, looking to increase the interaction for other people to see it. Now the horrible part about this is only 2% of brands sent an email dedicated to their social channels. And I saw this very clearly in their information, and it basically said nobody just sent an email saying, hey, join us on Facebook. Nobody. 2%. Okay, so remember that, and I see our time's getting down here. Segmentation strategy. I talked a little bit about this. Is there a way to leverage product category data to anticipate shopping behavior? Some people might have seen this as split A/B testing, and I didn't mention any of that today, but maybe in a future one we'll talk about advanced strategy in email marketing. This may require you to have multiple main product shots, so we're talking about multiple emails to go into multiple groups of people to do one thing, and that is increase the conversion rates. And this is even better when you start talking about VIP or membership only stuff. And I know a lot of us are dealing with sort of members only, VIP, special services, people who have clicked on previous emails. Those people are more important than the ones who are passively unattentive to emails. So here's the send holiday ecard. I've spoken about this several times. Just be social and say, hey, season's greetings. Check out our services. We're coming after you this holiday. Be ready for some awesome emails from us this year. No more simple stuff. We're going to make sure that you get an email that has been targeted towards you because we have information and we know a little bit more about you than last year. So a lot of that comes into a really good, you don't have to mention any of that, but you can look at non-promotional holiday cards as well. Just something that's nice and neat, and that does a lot. Shipping focused campaigns, last day for standard shipping, last day for priority. You see these emails go out all the time, mostly in the subject heading. Subject heading basically calls to action, people to open it. So you can increase open rates by putting stuff like this in your in your email subject. Last day for overnight shipping. Man, I will be responding to that when it gets closer to Christmas because I am a last minute shopper. You tell me that it's last day for overnight and I am purchasing. Online gift cards, and some of the other things. So I think we just lost a little bit of the audio. Let's see. By show of hands, can you still hear me? Okay, good. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. Looks like we had a little audio mix up over here. Thank you guys for your patience. We're coming to a close here in just a moment. So mobile opportunities in mid-November 2011. Fifth Avenue Saks dedicated an email to gaining mobile subscribers. So we had questions on how we were pushing mobile, and it looks like we had the ability to send one email. Looks like they're doing a text campaign here. Now, one of the greatest things I will show you, or I'll tell you about, is that you get these emails, and in the header area, you'll find that there's a piece of information. It's very important for mobile and companies like Gmail, but it's right above the context of the template. And maybe I'll save this again for an advanced class or webinar. But the idea is there's ways that you can optimize your emails specifically to blend the mobile and web to make it more attractive for people on the go and people sitting at a desktop. So we can talk about that at a later webinar. Build post-holiday and New Year's plans. So you got it all done. You got your email set up. You got things that you're thinking about. New templates are in the works. Now, what are you going to do after Christmas? You see Toys R Us here just slamming emails out after Christmas for their clearance sales. 65% off, thousands of items, driving yet more traffic back to their store after the onslaught of what Christmas and Black Friday and all those wonderful holidays that mean tons of money to retailers and businesses everywhere. So you can see here, this is just it's customized, it's fitting. There's a limited time that they sent for people who had opened past emails, because you can segment your email list for people who've opened past emails. How cool is that, to be able to say, well, half of these people aren't opening the emails. There is a time in your list building where you have to cut the dead weight. It's great that your list is 45,000 people or 250,000 people. 80% of those people on a national average aren't getting your message. So how do you optimize and say, well, when do I need to cut those people off? So this is the opportunity to say, well, these people actually opened our emails. Let's just get them back in our store. They already bought something. They already clicked. We have a conversion rate that shows through our other online marketing opportunities. So how do we segment and build that into more sales? And I think, guys, we're coming to an end here. So overall, some motivation, some people that I listen to when it comes to professional marketing, online. One of my favorites, Seth Godin in the top right. If you wait until there is another case study in your industry, you will be too late. Man, I suffer from that, because I am always looking for next year's data, when I should be participating in creating my own next year's data. So it's very important. David Merman Scott, he's all over. He does webinars. He's great about online marketing. Instead of one-way interruption, web marketing is about delivering useful content at just the precise moment the buyer needs it. Man, that is segmentation, remailing, email templates, everything we kind of discussed today about how to increase several different parts: the open rate, the click-through rate, and the conversion rate. And then Jeff Eisenberg down the bottom. It's much easier to double your business by doubling your conversion rate than doubling your traffic. And what he's basically saying is, if you're building lists and your list is 50,000 people, but your conversion rate is 0.5%, you're focusing on the wrong side of this equation. Most people don't understand that the email sends people to a location, technically a website. Now, when they get to that website, what are you doing with them? How are you participating with getting them to convert? So if you can increase the landing area for your email marketing and improve it to the point where your conversion rate is 10%, you've just broken into the top 99 percentile of conversion rates across the nation. So with that being said, we got some more webinars on the way. I appreciate everybody's attendance, everybody's interaction. I see some names out there. I'd love to have some conversations, some follow-up with just about everybody in our list. There will be a couple of emails that are going to go out after this. It's going to have some information about how we did and how we can improve, and I think that is just an amazing thing. Thank you guys for everybody, and thanks to Jamie for helping out field some questions and participating on that level. The cool part is we're actually recording this, so it should be available at standardstretch.com for anybody who wants to see it later. Give us some time to get it ready, and we might be able to find a way to create a blog post and generate some content, some traffic. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate it so much. Thanks. Bye bye.